This is a home that's a little further. This is a home that's a little further along. Part 2 of foundation. This this is the garage area, and this is where the slab meets the top of the foundation wall. So they backfilled all of it underneath that, then they poured this garage slab over the top of that, and it meets right there at the sill plate. And the sill plate, then, that's the wall I was telling you about in a previous video of the 2x4s being built above ground. Leaving that room, going into one of the other basement rooms, it can show you a little bit better as to where the soil level is. So the soil level is at the top of that 8-foot concrete wall, and you can see the little dots there where the wires came through to hold the forms in place. And then you can see on the back there how the slope goes down because the wall is lower, the concrete wall is lower, and the sill plate comes down further. And so remember that there can't be any soil below that sill plate right there, because if the soil level is above that, then you'll get water against the wall, and that'll rot out the wall. So this window well in the back there must be above soil level so that you don't get water in the window well as well. And that is a typical problem in older homes where the window well is too low and the soil level is too high, where the house butts up against the wall, and then that water comes through that sill plate right there and drains down the wall, leaks down the wall, and causes staining. And you'll see that staining looks like sort of a white calcium deposit. So turning around in the other portion of this room, you'll see that it's partly a furnace room, a utility room, and you can see that the beam that runs across, those are all the joists, the floor joists, that the beams that run across to hold those floor joists up fits in a beam pocket, and we're going to see that here in just a second. Yeah, you can see that there's a post or a jack in the center there because that beam goes too far across the room to have enough support, so they put in a jack, and then that jack is mounted down into the slab floor, and you can see where that beam runs the full length of that room and then is tied in at the next portion of the foundation wall. And you can see that there are some, we'll see here in just a second when we look a little bit closer, those jacks are supposed to be adjustable, but usually they really aren't. You need to tear them out and put in a true adjustable jack if your floor is uneven up above. But you can see that beam goes into a beam pocket there. That's that wooden chunk in the foundation wall that I showed you before on the outside of the house. So the beam is set in that beam pocket, and they use shims. Usually when the beams are put in place after the foundation wall is poured, the foundation person can't really tell where that's exactly supposed to go. So they use shims, and that's perfectly acceptable.